What is change really? If you're a business leader, you pretty much have to become married to change. Between rapidly changing technology and a rapidly shifting social environment, your personal and professional capacity for change has to be on point to run a successful business. Then factor in caring about your family, team, or community, and your barometer for change has to be well dialed. If you've ever felt like all the books, the TED Talks, the studies, and the coaches have only scratched the surface of what authentic change would mean for you, this video is for you. And if you've ever felt like even through the implementation of what has worked from those books, TED Talks, and coaches, the improvements they've gained for you have still left you less than fulfilled or less than completely tapped into your greater purpose, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to show you the missing ingredient to change that most approaches leave out. If you stick around to the end of the video, you will have a simple strategy to take all of that information and turn it into lasting cellular level transformation that will ignite consistent fulfillment and purpose. If that sounds good to you, give this video a like and then pop in a comment to let me know where you're watching from. And let's dive in. I'm Jordanna Eyre, Chief Sorceress of Life and Business at Spiral Growth Systems, where I teach business leaders how to dissolve the internal barriers in the way of authentic power so they can grow their business, lead their team, and love their family with equal amounts of professional impact and personal fulfillment, using a proven framework of embodied metaphysical mastery, powered by the Fibonacci sequence. My journey to becoming aware that the typical approaches to change didn't hit deep enough came at a younger age for me than most, which has given me more than 3 decades to test and prove what does work. As a teenager with an eating disorder, I quickly observed that the therapists I looked to for help wanted to talk and stay up in the head. Something inside of me told me that all that talking was actually impeding my healing. And it was keeping us above the surface of the deeper questions my soul needed to access for change. I recovered from my eating disorder once I learned to dive into the ancient wisdom and consciousness within me. And in my now 27 years of formal leadership roles, I've found that the same principles apply to change in business and leadership. So what is the missing ingredient to drive real change? It can be summarized in 6 words. Information does not necessarily equal transformation. For transformation to happen, it has to occur on a cellular level. This is Polly the ostrich. If Polly wants to transform in a lasting way, she's going to need that change to be internal. I could dress her up in this beanie, which for her looks more like a headscarf, but it would be a temporary change. It wouldn't change who she is on the inside. The way we've been taught to relate to information is 2, at best 3-dimensional. But in order for us to undergo change that's sustainable and gives us an unwavering foundation to build on, the cells of that thing have to change. For humans, that's our DNA. And when we look at DNA, we discover that sacred geometry is woven through it. The geometric patterns in our DNA show us that we are actually multidimensional creatures. So for change to happen, it has to happen on a multidimensional level. 2 or 3-dimensional change barely scratches the surface and cannot sustain under pressure. Let's look at an example of something you've probably experienced. If you've ever tried using affirmations, you know that just putting the statement up on your bathroom mirror doesn't get you far. So you try repeating it to yourself, but then you realize you don't believe it. And if you don't believe it, then you can't feel that thing to be true. And if you can't feel it to be true, it won't show up in your experience. So to take that affirmation and have it convert into energy that can propel you into a new version of yourself, you'll have to work through the layers of energy that oppose it. This could be opposing belief systems, old memories or trauma, and present-day energy that puts you in the perspective of not that. With each opposing layer you clear, the easier it is to feel, see, and know yourself as that affirmation. It's only when you can access the information as truth on a mind, body, soul, and spirit level, and when you can access it as truth in the future and the here and now, that it has the power to become true. That simple 2-dimensional statement that you wrote on your bathroom mirror wasn't going to get you there until your experience of it became multidimensional. So what's the strategy to break through the 2-dimensional into cellular level change? It starts with how we use the mind. Most people spend most of their time in beta brainwaves, which is used for conscious thought, as well as gamma for focus and problem solving. When we're wired to spend most of our time in thought, the brain is also wired to block out cellular level change. Multidimensional change cannot be willed, so we require access to slower brainwaves, alpha, theta, delta, to access multidimensional change. But just because you've rewired your brain to be able to access slower brainwaves doesn't mean cellular transformation is happening. Next, we need to activate what I call the shh. This is where our mind reaches a level of quiet that allows the signals in our body to guide us. It's through the body that we're able to dissolve the energy and the physical matter that impedes transformation. Once the shh is activated, then we need to strengthen our ability to stay present in our body for the sensations here and now. It is through the sensations that we go from 3 to 4-dimensional and ultimately beyond in our experience. But let's clarify something. Adding dimensions to our experience for transformation is not the same thing as 5D transition that so many woo-woo people are talking about. Now, I am not anti-woo-woo, but my experience is that much of the talk about transitioning into the 5D realm is being used to spiritually bypass what matters in the human experience, to shirk responsibility, and as a method to live in the clouds, which, if you think about it, isn't multidimensional at all. What we're talking about here will literally add one dimension and then another and so on to our experience of ourselves and everything in our lives so that we can get to the core of the energetic barriers between our current experience and the transformation we require to get to our desired experience. Okay, so we've rewired our brain waves, activated the shh, and strengthened our ability to stay present in all of the sensations that show us to the doorway of cellular transformation. But there are 2 more steps that are crucial. I frequently see people who have worked with the previous 3 steps and think they're done, even though the signs that there's so much deeper to go keep showing up in their business and relationships. The next step is to expand our containers for the expansion and contraction we can hold. Our tolerance for contraction has to equal our tolerance for expansion. It's through the ebbs and flows, the waves of both, that change happens in our cells. For everywhere you can tolerate, trust, and stay present in the waves of expansion and contraction is an area that you can experience cellular level change. The same is for intimacy in our personal relationships, as much as it is for how powerfully you can hold your team or stay committed to your vision in times of change. You might have a highly calibrated tolerance for expansion and contraction in certain aspects of your business, but maybe not as a parent with your children. Ultimately, we need them all. Shifting your internal wiring to stay present in the fullness of expansion and contraction is one of the reasons why I do what I do. Trying to hold yourself in the waves that feel like too much for your nervous system can require support. As a sorceress, my energy field is calibrated to expand out so that my students feel held energetically, allowing them to go into the cracks and crevices inside of themselves that would have felt unsafe for them to go into alone. The final step is to learn how to navigate the energy systems of the Fibonacci sequence's reflection in our lives. This is where those who are more advanced in personal growth often get stuck. People will come to me after decades of inner work, but their external circumstances are still reflecting the buried traumas or core wounds they've worked so hard to process. This is where we get to retrain all 6 of our senses to guide us in the metaphysical world of our current physical experience as much as our inner world. What happens at this stage is a union between our experience of the way our world is occurring to us and the guidance our outward experience is giving us to grow. In this space, an experience as profound as an ayahuasca ceremony can happen during the average day spent running your business or being present with your family. So now, when you hear the words information does not necessarily equal transformation, it may have a whole new meaning for you. And I say does not necessarily because once you've activated a capacity for cellular level transformation, then you can take 2-dimensional information and experience it in your cells as multidimensional change. Now, there's obviously so much deeper we could go here, but if you're serious about this level of change for yourself, your leadership, or your business, then Spiral Leadership Academy may be just the solution you've been looking for. Just below this video, you'll see a link to schedule a free Spiral strategy call where we'll be able to tell you if what we work on in Spiral Leadership Academy is the best fit for you and your specific goals. And if it's not, we'll be able to point you in the right direction. So go ahead, click on the link below this video. After you've scheduled your call, you'll be taken to a discovery form so that we can better understand what you're needing the most right now at this stage in your life and business. Be sure to fill that out so we can be sure that the time we're setting aside for you is truly valuable for you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear in the comments what part resonated the most for you. And don't forget to like this video so that the YouTube fairies can put it in front of more people who need it. And subscribe to be notified when I put out a new video every week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.